Alright, so the Chicago Bears are sitting on the edge of something massive right now. And if you're a Bears fan, things just got real in the best way possible. We're talking about Trey Smith. And yes, I know in previous videos, I have talked about this guy so much to the point where it might be an annoyance, but the Kansas City Chiefs stud guard might just be hitting free agency after all. And that's got the rumor mill spinning like crazy. The vibes around this team are shifting fast with the NFL salary cap jumping in, giving Ryan Poles some extra cash to play around with. And whispers of coaching tweaks could set the stage for a truly wild offseason, even wilder than what's already been happening. I mean, the Bears have been dying for a spark, something to get this city buzzing again after years of, let's be real, some pretty rough football. So today I want to dive deep into why Trey Smith could be the guy to change everything, how this cap space does open doors, and what else is cooking for this Bears squad that's got me and so many other people pumped up. So we've got a ton to unpack, so let's get right into it. But before we get into everything, today's video is sponsored by Factor. With Factor, you can eat stress-free with delicious, ready-to-go meals, ready for you every single day. Every fresh, never frozen meal is chef-crafted, dietitian-approved, and ready to eat in just 2 minutes. You get to choose from a weekly menu of 35 options, including popular options like Calorie Smart, Keto, Protein Plus, or Vegan and Veggie. Also discover more than 60 add-ons every single week, like breakfast, on-the-go lunch, snacks, and drinks. Factor really just has it all. So skip the overpriced takeout trap because Factor is cheaper, more delicious, and a lot more convenient. So head to factor75.com or click the link below and use code 50premier to get 50% off your first Factor order. Yes, you heard that right. 50% off your first order using code 50premier. And on top of that, you get free shipping. So go ahead and give it a try. So the big news lighting up Bears Twitter right now is all about Trey Smith. Word on the street, straight from Nate Taylor at The Athletic and Pro Football Network, is that the Chiefs aren't expected to slap the franchise tag or transition tag on this guy. That's huge, because a player like Trey Smith at 26 years old, 6'6", 321 pounds, and a brick wall at right guard doesn't hit the open market every day. This dude's been a key piece of Kansas City's last 3 Super Bowl runs, winning 2 of them, and his stats back up the hype. Last season, he played 655 pass blocking snaps and didn't allow a single sack. Zero, nada. I know the Super Bowl was a little bit different, but still that doesn't negate what he did in the regular season. And add in just 5 QB hits and 26 pressures to that as well, and you've got a guy who's a dream for any quarterback, especially a young one like Caleb Williams, who's still finding his footing in the NFL. The Chiefs might want to keep him, and sure, they could still lock him down with a long-term deal before free agency kicks off on March 12th, but if I'm Trey Smith, I'm licking my chops at the chance to cash in big time. Smith was a 6th round pick back in 2021 out of Tennessee, so he hasn't made the big bucks yet. We're talking maybe $3 or $4 million over 4 years. That's peanuts compared to what he's about to command. CBS Sports is projecting a record-breaking 5-year, $110 million-ish deal minimum. And honestly, that might be lowballing it when you look at the guard market lately. 4 guys are already averaging $20 million a year or more, and with Smith's resume, 67 starts in 68 games, just an Iron Man, PFF grades never dipping below 71.1, and a 78.8 last season that ranked him 14th amongst guards, he's about to reset the market. If I'm his agent, I'm not settling for some hometown discount in KC, even with 2 Super Bowl rings in my pocket. I'm testing the waters, and that's where the Bears come in, ready to pounce like a linebacker on a loose ball. And to talk more about money, the Bears just got a massive boost that's got Ryan Poles grinning ear to ear, as I kind of mentioned earlier. The NFL announced that the 2025 salary cap is jumping up to somewhere between $277.5 million and $281.5 million per Dan Graziano, which is a $22 to $26 million bump from last year. And over 2 years, that's a $53 million increase league-wide. And for a team like the Bears in the middle of a rebuild, the timing could not be sweeter. Right now, they're sitting pretty with about $69 million in cap space, which is 6th in the NFL. It's not Patriots level crazy, because those guys have like $126 million or something crazy like that, but it's more than enough to make a splash, or even splashes. Imagine Poles sitting there on March 10th when the legal tampering period opens, ready to slide a contract across the table to Trey Smith, 5 years, $115 million, $70 million guaranteed, making him the highest paid guard in the league at about $23 million a year or something like that. That's the kind of swing I'd take right out of the gate, because you don't mess around when a guy this good becomes available, even though I personally am more on the side of building through the draft. But it's not going to be a cakewalk. The Bears aren't the only one with cash burning a hole in their pockets. The Patriots, as I mentioned, with all that cap space, are also drooling over Smith to protect Drake May. The Raiders have nearly $100 million to throw around, and Tom Brady's probably circling top O-linemen like a hawk. Then you've got the Commanders at about $82.21 million. They just played in the NFC Championship, so they're closer to contending than Chicago. And the Cardinals are sitting at about $76.5 million, and the Chargers are at $70.4 million. And they could all jump in too. Heck, even the Vikings in the division might make a play to beef up their line. So if I'm Poles, I'm not just offering $19 million a year and hoping for the best. That's how you lose out to New England or someone else that's swinging a bigger bat. You've got to go big or go home, because a guy like Smith doesn't just fix your O-line, he changes the whole trajectory of this team. Maybe that's a little bit like too much to say, but still, I think he really is that big of a deal. So let's talk about why the Bears do need him so bad. Look, Caleb Williams has all the arm talent in the world, his sidearm throws, his angles, it's crazy stuff. But he's not going to survive in this league if he's running for his life every snap. The Bears' offensive line has been a mess for years, and yeah, Braxton Jones has shown some promise at tackle, but the interior needs a total overhaul. Trey Smith steps in at right guard, and suddenly, you've got an anchor who can stonewall pass rushers and open lanes for the run game. And pair him with a healthy Tevin Jenkins, maybe a draft pick at center like Drew Dalman from Atlanta, another guy I'll get to later, and this line all of a sudden starts looking legit. It's not just about protecting Caleb, it's about giving this offense a pulse, something Chicago hasn't had in forever. Plus, Poles was in the Chiefs front office when they drafted Smith. There's a connection there, a trust factor that could tip the scales. But Trey Smith isn't the only piece of this puzzle. Let's zoom out for a second, because the Bears are making moves behind the scenes too. The coaching staff under Ben Johnson isn't fully set yet, but we've got some nuggets trickling in. There's Kevin Kosh moving from defensive quality control to assistant linebackers coach, and I'm still hearing that they might add one more defensive backs coach under Al Harris. So keep an eye out for that. But my point is, Johnson's putting his stamp on this staff, and it's got me curious about how it'll all come together. And let's pivot back to the fun stuff. More free agents. I'd love to see the Bears chase with that $69 million war chest. If Trey Smith's the crown jewel, Drew Dalman's my next target. The Falcons center is 26, 6'3", 300 pounds, and one of the best at his position over the last 4 years. He's a free agent too, and snagging him would lock down the middle of the line. And then there's Kevin Zeitler from the Lions, another guard who's worked with Ben Johnson and could bring some veteran presence. And how about Mekhi Becton, the 6'6", 363 pound Super Bowl champ from the Eagles? His 75.2 PFF grade this year screams breakout. And he's only hitting his prime. And he's only just starting to hit his prime. My sleeper pick, though, is Derek Jackson from the Rams. He's 26 years old, 6'6", 315 pounds, and had a 78.3 PFF grade, and only allowed 3 sacks last year. If the Bears don't draft a tackle, he's a steal to pair with Smith. And then on the defensive side, imagine bringing back Khalil Mack. Those Return of the Mack vibes would be unreal. And then Josh Sweat from the Eagles, who had 8 sacks this year, and Chase Young from the Saints with 7 sacks, could also juice up the pass rush too. And then BJ Hill from the Bengals and Dante Fowler, who had 11 sacks with the Commanders, are sneaky good defensive line options that I'd be willing to throw money at if I was in charge of things. And the Bears have the cash, like I said, they have the need and the momentum, so why not go all in? So where does this leave us? If Poles lands Trey Smith, bolsters the line with a guy like Dalman or Jackson, and sprinkles in some defensive help, this team could flip the script overnight. The cap bump gives them the wiggle room to retain depth guys like Josh Blackwell or Jalen Jones too. I'm not saying they're Super Bowl bound yet, but this could be the offseason that takes them from laughingstock to wild card contender. What do you think though? Would you splurge on Smith? Who else should they target? Drop your takes below, because I'm pumped to see where this ride takes us, so bear down, baby. If you made it to this point in the video and enjoyed, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe, because your support truly does mean the world. And also, if there was a player I didn't talk about in this video, please let me know, and let me know what you would like to see next, and until then, I will see you all later.